Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today in this video I want to talk a bit about our relationship to the present and how we operate in our daily life. I especially want to focus on decision making, our relationship with belief, what we choose to believe and what we choose not to believe, and how we come to these conclusions. Also with this I want to discuss a reoccurring theme in one of my notebooks, which is Steph's dictionary. What I do in my notebook is try to define words for me, because I noticed that a lot of words mean a lot of different things to different people. And sometimes it's better to actually describe what you think of a word so other people can relate to that and you don't get misconceptions or miscommunications because of it. So in this video, I want to explain a bit of a story about us in the present moment and our relationship with the past and the future. And with that, I want to use a couple words. So let's get right into it. Okay, so human beings are basically stuck in the present. As I discussed in a previous video, we are constantly in the present, we're moving towards the future, and we are letting go of the past. One thing that we can be sure of is that the future is going to be different from the past. The universe is always changing, it's moving somewhere. Every day might feel similar to another day. A new Monday might feel like the same old Monday. But I can assure you the particles on a day are going to be in a different position and things have changed. So we have to deal with this change. Human beings have developed over time this organ, this brain that likes to think of stuff. And it knows that we're going towards the future. It knows it's going to be there someday. And we take the information that we have from the past and we apply that to the present moment in order to get a better future. But how do we come to these conclusions? How do we make the best moves? The world is basically like a giant chessboard and we are constantly evaluating the position and thinking what the next best move would be to reach a better position in the future. We conclude what the best move is by thinking. The thing is, we cannot think forever. At some point we have to make a move. Just like in chess the clock runs down, at some point you gotta have to make a move. By making the move we come to know more about the situation and we learn, and we can take that information that we learn and apply that to our next moves. We like to share this information with other people. We like to communicate them, to explain to other people what they should do. And I've noticed that we usually use 3 different verbs when we try to communicate a certain idea. Although the words are kind of similar to each other, they basically all indicate a different certainty of your idea. So the first one is thinking, the second word is believing, and the third word is knowing. If people tell you, oh, I think you should do this, or I think I'm gonna do this, what that means for me is that they are not sure, but that's what their current thoughts are saying right now. It could be that they're not very certain about it, but currently this is what their thoughts are saying. Like, here you go, these are my thoughts. Then you have believing. If someone says, I believe you should do this, or I believe you should do that, what they are basically insinuating is that based on the knowledge they've acquired and based on the thoughts they have given it, they have come to the conclusion that this could be the best idea, but they're not sure about it, they just believe. A synonym for this word is faith. Then we have the third word I discussed, and that's knowing. This is based on knowledge. And if you know something, you are certain that it's true. Knowing something usually is connected to a fact. It can be proven. But in fact, I think knowing is more of a construct made up by society. It's just something that we all agree on. For example, the color blue. You can say this bottle is blue, but what that basically means is that we all perceive it as blue and we all agree that this is the color blue. So therefore I know this color is blue, because nobody's gonna argue differently. For me, knowing is kind of a vague area in humanity where everyone just agrees on something, but it's not really true, because we can never know anything for sure. Just like Socrates said, I am the wisest man because I know that I don't know. People that also claim to know a lot of things, they actually don't know that they don't know. And that's the opposite of wisdom in my perspective, and that's what we call ignorance. But a consequence of believing too much is different than ignorance. For me, that's naivety. If you believe too much about certain things, if you believe too much information other people are giving you and you believe it to be true, then that means you're naive. You're not doubting things enough. or you simply lack experience to come to a better conclusion. Often people will say that ignorance and naivety is kind of the same, but for me, ignorance is really being sure that you know something, but then actually not knowing it. And naivety is more about lacking the experience or having the wrong influence. If you believe something, you already accept the fact that you are not 100% sure. While if you're saying that you know something, you don't accept anything else and you say that this is the only truth. Basically, all that's left that we can do is just believing. We just have faith in the future. Now, a lot of people still claim to know so much stuff. Now, why do they do this? My theory is this. It's really simple. Humans just have this innate desire to know things, to be certain about something. We don't want to be confronted every day with the fact that we actually don't know how life originated, and that we actually don't know what we're doing in this universe, that we actually have no clue what is happening half of the time. We don't want to do this. So what we do is we fake knowing things. We fake this confidence. We pretend like we actually do know something. A lot of human beings, especially those with a large ego, are afraid of admitting that they don't know anything, and they are afraid of losing the control. They're also perhaps afraid of being perceived by other human beings as inconfident. They want other people to follow them. They want other people to feel like they are very confident and know all the answers. And this is also what attracts other people. You don't want to step into a plane where the pilot is saying, hey, I'm not sure if this plane is going to land. You want to step into a plane where the pilot is confidently saying, hey, I'm going to land this plane. It's going to happen no matter what. And here I'm not arguing that this is not a great skill of human beings, that they can fake this confidence and actually achieve a lot of things. It's actually a very valuable skill that humans have developed, and it actually leads us to do a lot of great things. We should be careful that we are not always doing this, because too much of this can lead to close-mindedness and not actually progressing your own knowledge and not being open to other ideas. Especially with the rise of the internet, this problem is only getting bigger and bigger. For instance, conspiracies are shared online all the time. Where do these conspiracies come from, and why are so many people subscribing to these ideas? Most of the time there's a certain gap of information about a story. For example, if something happens and not the full information is released to public, people start conceptualizing ideas. They start creating these certain narratives, and people just jump onto this because they cannot handle the fact that they actually don't know. They cannot admit the fact that they don't know themselves about a certain thing. So they just say, this theory, I'm going to believe this because then I actually have the full story, the full picture. But we should be very careful with this. There's so many opinions and beliefs, and people can just join them to fill their own gaps of doubts. People don't like to be in this uncomfortable position of unknowing. What I've come to realize that it's actually just the best to always admit that you don't know anything, always be open to anything new. And it doesn't mean that you have abandoned all your knowledge, all the ideas that you have. You just carry them with you. But if you approach every situation in daily life with the approach of I actually don't know, you also start learning more and observing more. Instead of just saying, oh, I know this, oh, I know that, I don't want to learn about this because I've seen this before. Every day is unique and every moment is unique. In every little moment, there's something to learn, something to observe that you've not observed before. So be careful of people who constantly say that they know a bunch of stuff and actually just accept that you don't know. Take everything with a grain of salt. Don't fully subscribe into one idea. Just say, hey, this might be true, this is a good theory, but hey, maybe if another theory comes along, some other evidence provided, let's go with that. This is how we can progress our knowledge as a civilization over time, and how we can come closer little by little to what might be one day the truth.